Mm. So, well, hello everyone. Welcome to Bitcoin webinar, Bitcoin in 2019. So, will it shine or dive? So today, as we explain in our email and we are explaining the webinar section, we are gonna see how fundamentals affected cryptos through the year through 2018 and how the markets are positioned going into the first quarter of 2019. So in simple terms, what happened actually in 2018 and why? What's behind what fundamentals we have on the back or the background of cryptos, how they affect the price price action of cryptocurrency market, and we are going to see how we believe that it's going to move in 2019, the cryptocurrency market, but more precisely Bitcoin. So hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. There's no audio or visual problem, I assume. Hello guys, hello Rajama Murali, hello Hien. Have a great day as well. Okay, great. Thank you for the feedback. So, as usual, for any issues with the audio or for any issues you have with the broadcast, just let me know and I will check whether it's coming from my side. If it's your side, from your side, just please check the settings on your computer or device. Also, because we have a 1 hour limitation as usual, for any longer explanations, please send your question to webinars@hotforex.com. It's one of us, either Stu or me or Nectars, will reply as soon as possible. However, don't hesitate to just stick in the box the question that you have, and if I manage, I will try to cover. I will try to reply within the webinar session. So let's go through the disclaimer warning as always. This material is provided as a general marketing communication for informational purposes only. Nothing in this communication contains or should be considered as containing an investment advice or an investment recommendation or solicitation for the purpose of purchase or sale of any financial instrument. We make no representation and assume no liability as to the accuracy or completeness of any information provided. We shall not be held liable for any loss arising from any investment made based on the information provided in this communication. This communication must not be reproduced or further distributed without our prior written permission. Risk warning: trading forex and CFDs may not be suitable for all investors and carries a high degree of risk to your capital. Trading such products is risky. You may lose all of your investment capital. So admin out of the way. This is me. Hopefully everyone knows me like in this session. So I'm Andria, market analyst here in Hot Forex. And I won't just stick on introducing myself. We are here to help me and my colleagues as well. So anything you want, just either send us an email or through the Facebook page that we have. Is on Stuart's name, is Stuart Hot Forex Cowl, and we will try to help you as soon as possible. And as I always repeating in every webinar that I'm doing, just check our website, our analysis website, check what we are writing, and this daily market reviews that we provide will help you becoming better traders. Okay, so it's good to at least read them and try to understand what we're saying, and how we explain the market, and what we actually any fundamentals and technical analysis that we provide through those daily market reviews. So that was all from my side, and it's time to actually start our presentation regarding Bitcoin in 2019. So this presentation, guys, is based around a few of the key events that we actually saw in 2018, and they have had an impact on cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin more precisely, but predominantly what we should actually expect for 2019, because there's going to be a lot of key events in 2019 that they might change the way we currently see this particular market. So as I already mentioned, just let's quickly we'll go through the fundamentals that have affected cryptos through the year, how the markets are positioned going into the first quarter of 2018, how the regulations and security have already affected the cryptos, and how they might affect the cryptos in 2019. And of course, we're gonna stick also to the technical side of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and we're gonna see together key levels to be watched for trading Bitcoin in 2019. So that was okay. Okay. So, with everything you want, you can stick it in the box. Okay, I will start the webinar, and everything you need, I will reply within the session. Guys, is any one of you traded crypto so far, or is familiar with it? I assume that everyone at least try once to trade cryptos. It's one of the most volatile. It is a quite volatile market, so I assume that some of you already know. Okay, Tommy, fair enough. Why not? Anyone familiar on trading cryptos? I know it's a very volatile asset, so I understand why you might have not ever tried to trade. Yes, from Williams. Okay, great, good. So let's start. As we pointed out in our year's outlook, which was actually published 2 weeks ago. And it's good to download it and have a look. We are giving all the insights, all our opinion, the insights for each of the major currencies and assets in the market. So as we pointed in our year's outlook, 2018 was in general quite packed of disappointments for global markets, not only cryptocurrencies, but I mean in general for global markets. So that's why we have ended in 2018. The 2018 ended with many assets closing the year in red. And what we have seen actually is that the equity market had for much of the year been robust enough to shrug off such headwinds as an escalating US-China trade war, the ongoing Brexit uncertainty, which we're facing up to now as well, the budget tussle between the Italy and the EU, that's out of our way for now. And also worries regarding central banks, and also the 4 rate hikes from Fed. So the Fed tightening was another thing that worried investors through 2018. So equity market was one of it was a market that actually had a major faced the major losses in 2018. So in general, was a year, we can claim that it was a year, a very volatile year. for all the markets in general. So cryptos had also were also suffered through 2018. And something I haven't mentioned as well was NAFTA, which now turns to USMCA, US Mexico Canada deal. That's something that affected oil, but in general, these main points that I have put on this chart, on this slide over here, were some of the major events that actually turn a lot of the assets in red and actually give a bit of actually give the uncertainty over the market. That's why we have seen market suffering. But as I already said, 2018 has been characterized as a year marked by volatility, but also, since this webinar is regarding cryptos and more precisely Bitcoin, but also some analysts, some people also called it a year that the crypto bubble burst. Okay, I don't know, I cannot say that that's indeed true. However, what is a fact is that in 2018 we have seen Bitcoin and in general cryptocurrency market crashed from very early in the year. So the bear market was hanging on through the most of 2018, and we have seen Bitcoin, Ethereum, and in general other peer digital currencies all planked, losing 80 to 91% of their value. So the only one that had, one of the few that had a lower loss level was Bitcoin, which faced 70%. That's huge again, but I mean compared to other currencies, to other cryptocurrencies, was one of the few that actually faced faced around 70%. So actually, now we were with Bitcoin ending with 70% loss through 2018. So from the 19,000 high we've seen, record high we have seen from Bitcoin last year. Now the Bitcoin is actually traded around the 3,000 low. So now today, actually, and in general from the beginning of the year, we are all actually wondering how low will this go? Is there a further space to the downside, or it will manage to recover? And if it managed to recover, when is likely when this could happen? So, oops, sorry. So, is anyone now that Forex is affected by interest rates, what affects most on cryptos? Okay, we'll have a look on what is actually affecting cryptos, Shipamandia. Don't worry about that. So guys, let me stick on the box, by the way, our just a second, our global trends file for 2019. Let me actually, so here is the link. Hopefully you can see it. Is the global trends 2019 that we have created for you, and it's published as I already mentioned. So here you can actually have a free copy for our Global Trends 2019 if you just go through this website. I will send the link to all of you, and yeah, you can download for free. You can see our opinion, our expectation for the major currency pairs, the major metals, the major energies, in general, the major assets for 2019. So you can have a look. It's for free, and give us your feedback. Your feedback is more than welcome. So let me stick the web up. Just a quick, I will send you the link. Up. Send to all. Okay. Hopefully you all of you got the link. So let's continue. Is anyone, just before I go through, is anyone familiar? Not familiar. Is you are aware? I assume what cryptocurrency is, because it's been now. It's one of the most famous assets, and it's like, especially since 2017. So I assume that even if you don't know how it works precisely, you know what actually is it. Okay, just before, just not, in order not to spend time on it, I would just simply say that it's a digital currency, okay, that uses encryption to generate money and to verify transaction. This is what cryptocurrency is, okay. But we're not here to explain what is it, or to explain how it works, but we're here to help you maybe attempt to trade in 2019 the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market, to enter the cryptocurrency market, etc. So, and we are here actually to give you an idea how it's likely to move from now onwards. So, okay, we are done with this slide. Sorry, let's move on. So, okay, from this, before I go, before I switch, I turn to I continue with the next slide. I created this. I put on this chart because I'd like to. I wanted to highlight this sharp decline that we have seen in Bitcoin in 2018. So after this sharp rally we have faced in 2017 at record highs, like from $2,000 up to 19 to nearly $20,000, we are now we are now back to the nearly beginning of 2017, and close to the open price of 2017, just 1,000 away. So I just want to emphasize the 70% loss that Bitcoin faced through 2018. So as you might remember, in 2017, Bitcoin price soared by 1,800% to peak at over $19,000. This means, if we have a look on the market capitalization, on the market capital of Bitcoin, this implies to $250 billion dollars. Okay, so compared to 2017, this insane movement that we have seen in 2017. This 2018, which actually crypto stocks, bonds, commodities, and also traditional currencies, not only cryptos, it crept as well cryptos. It also affected cryptos. This turmoil we have seen in 2018. That's why we face this sharp decline in cryptos as well. So, as I mentioned, in 2017, the market capitalization of Bitcoin was over 250 billions. Currently, not currently, actually, the total market capitalization for 2018 was around just $65 billion. So that's it's what I just mentioned earlier. It reverted 70% of its 2017 market value. So currently the market value of Bitcoin is around 65 billions from 250 billions that it was in 2017. So, so it's literally trading at the 1/4 of its peak value currently, and this is how we ended also on December. So so it might have started in 2018 at 10,000, but it finished just on $3,844, one quarter of its peak value. So what you need to know at this point is that is that Bitcoin, as Bitcoin price is plummeting. Sorry, okay. Let me close Skype because I got confused a bit. Okay. So what you need to know, what you need to have in mind at this point is that as Bitcoin price declines, okay, it also drags down the Bitcoin price. If it's going downwards, it also drags down the majority of the cryptocurrency of the crypto market. So if Bitcoin goes down, then possibly all the rest of all the other cryptocurrencies are going down as well. And why is that? Is because of market share, because of liquidity. Actually, if you check the chart that I have borrowed from pension partners, you see that Bitcoin is actually, it has more than 45%. It holds more than 45% of the market share of the cryptocurrency market share. So it holds the largest market share in cryptocurrency market. So it's what is the oldest and the most dominant cryptocurrency in this market. That's why its price action can manage to drag down or up the majority of the crypto market. Another thing that you have to have in mind is that is the liquidity. So Bitcoin is as you understand, as you understood so far, is the most liquid cryptocurrency. So most of the other cryptocurrencies, let's say I don't know, Bitcoin Cash, Cardano, Litecoin, etc., and most of them need to be converted to Bitcoin or Ethereum before they can be liquidated to dollars. So for these reasons, since they need to be converted to Bitcoin and afterwards to be liquidated to dollars, for this reason, Bitcoin remains the most attractive asset for traders. Not only because its first entry point, it was the first one that entered the crypto space, but also because it provides the fastest exit point. So that's the reason why Bitcoin remains the most dominant cryptocurrency, and why we can see similar performance to other currencies based on the removal of Bitcoin. Okay, just this as a background, just in general, just to have in mind. Okay. Um, just quickly, Sima Mandala. So, not now. Now that Forex is affected by interest rate, what affects most on cryptos? We have a look what affects mostly cryptos, but you have to have in mind that Bitcoin. What we are trading is Bitcoin against dollar, right? So any change, any tightening policy from Fed and etc., since it's converted to dollars, and it's liquidated with dollars. It's affecting our asset, the Bitcoin dollar asset. Okay, so let's continue. You have a lot to cover. So back to your question: what affects most on cryptos? My opinion, I think in general, the opinion in the globally, let's say, or the main thing that actually affects cryptos is, of course, regulations. Okay, regulation changes, any kind of regulatory changes, are very, very important to cryptocurrency traders. And this is something that has been proven for the last 2 years, or maybe more. Okay. So we have actually confirmed that regulatory changes have a pronounced effect on coin valuation. So Bitcoin and in general any other cryptocurrencies actually. If we take, for example, the China, okay, China, uh, Bitcoin, we have seen back in September 2017 that when China announced that they were outlawing initial coin offerings in September 2017, we have seen Bitcoin down by nearly 1600 1600 points, 1600 pips, sorry. So one of the main things that you have to have in mind is regulations around cryptocurrency markets. Another example was back in February 2018, where China began to clamp down on mining. This is another thing that actually affected our market and added further pressure to Bitcoin. So in February 2017, you can see that Bitcoin faced new dips. So why is that? Okay, this is not so bad because it could be a good opportunity for you. Okay, it could create an opportunity for you to go short on those on those movements. Okay, so it's not bad for a trader. You know, we can go short, we can go long, or we can just remain out of the market. As the only thing that we have to have in mind is to be alert, check the news, understanding why, how the market is moving and why it actually went down or up, how it actually affected, in order to see the opportunity to enter the market on time. Okay. So, as I said, one of the main things that they have a direct impact on the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, etc., is regulations. More than likely, it's not only the regulation part; it's a mixture of multiple factors that have led the Bitcoin to decline in 2018. Okay. So another thing that actually affected Bitcoin, and that's why we have seen declining over the year, was also hacking. And actually, the cryptocurrency exchanges actually faced a lot of hacks, but one of the main ones was back in January when there was there was a hacking on the Japanese exchange CoinCheck at the end of January actually, and also that actually end up with the coin losing million of dollars. So while Bitcoin itself is rarely the target of these hacks, they're likely any kind of hacks in the cryptocurrency exchanges, they shock the consumer confidence and the security of cryptocurrency. So they raise worries to us as investors. Is this safe? Is this not? So they actually shock consumer confidence. And because we know that considering the fact that there is no central organization to actually ensure these currencies, any kind of hacking, any kind of news regarding hacking actually make investors in the market worrying about the security of cryptocurrencies, because there is nothing so far that and no organization like to ensure us as traders from any for anything that has to do with cryptocurrencies. So the hacking, as I said back on January on the Japanese exchange CoinCheck, was actually another thing that actually boosted Bitcoin lower. to a new low for the year. Also, um, also China talks regarding cryptocurrency banning, and of course Facebook banning on cryptocurrencies, and Facebook ban on ICOs advertisements were some of the factors that actually added further pressure on Bitcoin price in the early 2018. Okay, so any kind of news that have to do with ban, that have to do with restrictions, that has to do with, let's say, any kind of restriction to cryptocurrencies, affects the cryptocurrencies negatively. So adds further pressure to our market. Also, in March, we have faced another thing that shifted Bitcoin further to the downside, and that is the announcement from SEC. SEC is actually the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. If there is someone that doesn't know it, SEC actually announced that cryptocurrency exchanges have to be listed. They have to list their ICOs, their initial coin offerings or tokens, on their platform, and are required to register with the agency. So in order to continue providing providing support for these tokens. So it's a kind of it's another kind of regulation. It's another attempt to put a regulation in cryptocurrencies, and more precisely to ICOs, to the initial coin offerings. So this wasn't so bad, like literally fundamentally wise, but market seems to overreacted in this announcement. And if we just let me put the platform in our you see the platform. If I go back to March, okay, March is over here. We have faced the Bitcoin was dragged from 12,000 down to half of its price, actually down to 6,500. So from 12,000 down to nearly 6,500, and that is due to the fact that on this announcement regarding the fact that the cryptocurrency exchanges that they have actually that they have listed initial coin offerings, they have to be registered with an agency, either SEC or either CFTC, which stands for Commodity and Futures Trading Commission. Okay, so they have to be registered with an agency. As I said, this wasn't so bad. However, markets are moving based on investors' emotions, investors' beliefs, investors' opinions. So market overreacted to this announcement, and that's why we have seen this sharp decline to the downside. So that was another thing that actually affected negatively Bitcoin and cryptos in general. Another thing, again in March, that's why we have seen that huge move to the downside, that huge negative candle, is the fact that the Japanese government, Japan, actually put a penalty to 4 cryptocurrency exchanges and actually revoked the license of 2 trading platforms due to poor security and failing to meet the anti-money laundering regulations and the KYC policy, the Know Your Customer policy. So you can understand from that any kind of news that has to do with as I repeat, I am repeating myself right now, anything that has to do with regulations affects immediately the price. Okay, so and especially if this comes from Japan. So since why this has to do with Japan, because Japan remains so far today the largest Bitcoin exchange market. It has actually over 51% of market share. So any kind of crackdown on this on Japanese market, on Japanese exchange, has a direct impact in the global cryptocurrency market, because simply the Japan is the largest Bitcoin exchange market. So if something happened within this exchange market, then affects in general the global cryptocurrency market. So another thing that actually affected negatively Bitcoin. A fifth reason for 2018 performance is tax. This is not something new. This is not something that actually happened in 2018. It was something that actually was announced last year in 2017, if I'm not wrong, by IRS, so the Internal Revenue Service. So what's happened? In the early of 2018, the first quarter of 2018 is a tax season. So since in 2017, the IRS, the Internal Revenue Share, announced that it will begin in 2018 to begin taxing Bitcoin. So now was the time for the taxman to actually take the tax from people that actually benefit profits in 2017, and not only in 2017, but actually more precisely since 2013. Okay, so a lot of people who made actually money in 2017 and before that, they are actually gain money since 2017. They have in 2018 they had to pay taxes on their trades. Okay. So it was in 2018 we had also in the beginning of 2018 we had the tax season. So any kind of Bitcoin profits, they are actually taxable income from many countries. This is not around the world like globally, but in many places around the world, Bitcoin profits are actually taxable. Okay. So all these profits that have been plentiful, with its price increases more than 10 times since the beginning of 2017, now was the time to claim that tax back. The governments were requests for this for tax from these profits. Okay, simple as that. Are you okay so far? What is IRS? And that's just left. Okay, I will stick it on the box. I will just reply to everyone actually. IRS stands for Internal Revenue Service. Okay, which actually, sorry for that. Okay, but sorry for I have low capitals and okay, never mind. So IRS stands for Internal Revenue Service. Okay, and actually back in 2017, if I'm not wrong, IRS, just think it as simply as an agent who collects tax. Okay, for every single country. In United States, actually, it's called IRS, Internal Revenue Service. It's the agency who collects the tax, the nation's tax. But for each country, it's called differently. But just have in mind that is a tax collection agency. Simple as that. Okay. So let's continue. And we have another. Oh, sorry for that. I skipped. We are here. So, okay, actually, okay. Another reason, sorry for the 555, there's something wrong with my bullet points over here. So, another thing that actually affected Bitcoin and dragged the price lower. It was back in September, where we see another drop of Bitcoin and cryptos in general, and that has to do with the discharge of nearly 1 billion of Bitcoins on the market from a single wallet. So Coinbase actually announced that in September, just a single wallet, maybe a single investor, institutional investor, we don't really know, actually took nearly 1 billion of Bitcoins, withdraw 1 billion Bitcoins from the market. So because it was a huge amount, that dragged the Bitcoin price lower. This is what actually CoinDesk, announced. Another thing that actually in September affected Bitcoin was the SEC, the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission, delay Bitcoin ETFs. So actually delayed the the exchange traded funds for Bitcoin that was taken out from market as negative, as a negative sign for Bitcoin, and actually raised uncertainty over cryptocurrency markets. So and actually that was rejected. That the Bitcoin ETFs actually rejected in November, and that's why we have faced in November one of the biggest collapse we have seen so far in the year for Bitcoin. So the Security Exchange Commission actually announced in September that it rejects the Bitcoin ETFs because they are lack of security, and it's not like they cannot comply with the regulations that they want. Okay, so the regulators step up the enforcement of initial coin in November, and actually that dropped Bitcoin price lower. Also, another thing that actually actually happened in November was that the agency, the SEC, announced its first penalties against the founders of the Bitcoin ETFs, because they have not registered the new coin offerings, and that was seen by SEC as a kind of abusement and outright fraud in the growing digital industry. So they have added penalties, they have added charges to the founders of the Bitcoin ETFs. So again, another negative effect for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. Okay, in November. Sorry, let me quickly. So you can see that mainly all these that we have said so far has to do with regulations. So governments and the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission actually tried to put some limits, some regulations, some control to cryptocurrencies. So it's something that you have to have in mind, and you have to be up to date with any cryptocurrency news in order to be able to trade cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, of course. Last but not least, actually, another reason for this big sell-off in the market last year, in the cryptocurrency market in the last year, was the forking of Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash, actually, what we mean by forking is when a digital asset, in this case was Bitcoin Cash, was split into two different assets, into Bitcoin ABC and Bitcoin SV. So was split into two. The market was pretty much anticipating these new coins in November. However, this news regarding the forking of Bitcoin Cash into two different ones actually created actually put the uncertainty level higher for the investors. Again, they raise worries regarding the cryptocurrency market. So we have seen by the end of December, Bitcoin bottom at $3,218. Okay, this might be the main reason for the big sell-off we have seen in November and December. The forking of the Bitcoin Cash. So during November and December, which was one of the most of the worst performing month in 2000 in 7 years for Bitcoin, actually, we have seen $70 billion strike out from the major cryptocurrencies capitalization. So that's why we have ended with this just $65 billion market capitalization in 2018. So that were the main reasons for the disappointment that we have faced in 2018 regarding Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. Okay, but our webinar has to do with what we shall expect. Sure, right. So I have to go through what happened to 2018 because some of these reasons are likely to be to appear in 2019 as well. So what Bitcoin, how Bitcoin likely to move into 2019? Will Bitcoin be able to recover the sell-off that we have seen so far? So as we have already mentioned, let me put also an MT4 back on. Currently, Bitcoin is hovering up around 3,500 dollars. So there is no saying when another bear creep will take place below this level. Also, we remain negative to the downside. So as we actually posted in our global trends for 2019 outlook, we expect that 2019 will be another bearish year for Bitcoin. Okay, some experts also globally have given that their opinion is that there is the current bear market is likely to continue, if not for the whole of 2019, but if not for the whole one, at least for the most of 2019. There is nothing so far that will point that is giving any positive momentum to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency so far. So while the Bitcoin is a bit of a stable in short term, if you see that it's quite stable. So after this decline, after this bottom, it's shifted slightly higher, but it's currently stable. It's currently in a ranking market. It's kind of consolidating. So despite the fact that it might be stable in the short term, it needs a lot of effort, a lot of effort in the long term in order to reach again the all-time highs over here, like at the nearly $20,000. However, before we see the charts, before we go through the technical side of Bitcoin, okay, I would like just quickly to go through some of the events, things, and general factors that you have to have in mind when you're trading cryptos during 2019. Okay, factors that is likely to have an impact, a negative or a positive one, to the cryptocurrency market, but most precisely on the most liquid asset, which is Bitcoin. It remains Bitcoin. Okay, so quickly, before we see the technical side, like last year, the key issues surrounding Bitcoin and the wider cryptocurrency asset class is security and regulation. So security and regulation will persist this year as well, and will need to be addressed if there is to be stable. If there is to be a stable and liquid market. So you need to know the cryptocurrency market. You need to stick it on your mind that cryptocurrency market so far is a space that needs actually to comply with laws and regulations, and that's why in 2019 is likely to see a lot of laws and regulation to be placed into to move into place in 2019. So we are expecting a lot of regulations to be placed. Okay, so because as we have already explained, regulation have a direct impact in cryptocurrency valuation, and they already have confirmed that in the past. Any kind of changes in the legislation can be it's not so bad for us as traders. Actually can provide us opportunities. Okay, changes in legislation, a possible opportunity to profit for an investor, for a trader. So what you have to have in mind, even if we have a tightening of regulations in any country or globally, or it's in the Europe, in the US, in China, etc., this is likely to lead to a fall in the price in cryptocurrency, in Bitcoin. So this will shift the price lower, but this could be also an opportunity for us to trade short in cryptocurrencies, to go short. So uh, if there is a tightening in the regulation in a country, this could lead to fall in price because buyers, okay, they will become less willing to purchase cryptocurrencies. So cryptocurrency price will drop. So this is an opportunity to sell. Okay, opportunity to sell. On the other hand, a losing of regulation in some countries or in general, they have an absolute or an implicit ban on cryptocurrencies. They could, for example, if we can see don't know, implicit ban on cryptocurrencies. This could lead to an increase in cryptocurrency prices because buyers who were previously unable or unwilling to purchase cryptocurrencies, now they will start entering the market long. So they will start buying and buying and buying due to this losing regulation in some countries. So this will shift the cryptocurrency price higher. This will benefit crypto price, and since Bitcoin is one of the largest and the oldest cryptos in the cryptocurrency market, immediately we could see Bitcoin shining. Okay, not diving, shining. Also here I have put an example in the tightening regulation where cryptocurrency is shifting lower. In 2018, we have seen Korea, actually Korea announced, I read it somewhere. Okay, in July 2018, the government announced that they will remove the tax breaks from cryptocurrencies exchange. So any kind of profits that the traders gain, they would be liable for capital gain tax in the near future. So this automatically, so it should be tax. Sorry for the typo, tax. So this was automatically means a tightening in regulations and also a taxable profits for crypto prices in Korea. So that's automatically negatively affects our price. So please, 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 please pay attention to the news. In order to benefit, in order you as a traders, us as a traders, in order to benefit in our trading, in our cryptocurrency trading, we need to we need to pay attention to the news. Any news that have to do with regulatory changes, because otherwise we're gonna miss the chance to enter the market on time. We will miss we will not take advantage of such price movement if we don't pay attention to the news, okay? Because there is no cryptocurrency has not, it doesn't have something certain things, confirmed things that actually affected it directly. It's not like dollar that we know. Okay, any kind of US data, economic data affects the dollar. Any kind of news from Fed affects the dollar. Any kind of politics around US affect the dollar. Cryptocurrency market is different. So what you have to stick on mind is that the regulation part is the most important part. So is the only thing that it has been confirmed so far that it affects immediately the market. So pay attention to the news regarding regulatory changes. Okay. Next, another four key issues that traders need to be aware of is ETFs in 2019 actually. Actually, SEC, the U.S. Security Commission, has indicated that they will approve a cryptocurrency financial instrument only if there is significant evidence that it is virtually impossible to be manipulated and that it is safe for the general public, for us as traders, for people to trade it. It's safe. So SEC actually would be a key agents to be watched, because there are many projects to be announced in 2019, Bitcoin included. So they are all in a stage of development. So any kind of rejection or a delayed decision over potential Bitcoin ETFs could hurt cryptocurrencies, okay? Any kind, like in 2018, any kind of delayed decision from SEC or any kind of rejection or any kind of penalties to any charges that SEC might put in uh, sorry, any kind of rejection from SEC or any delayed decision has a negative effect in cryptocurrency, could hurt cryptocurrencies. Also, Nasdaq, the world's second largest stock exchange in the world, actually announced, if I'm not wrong, back in November, I'm not sure, it announced that it officially announced through Bloomberg that they are planning to launch Bitcoin futures in the first quarter of 2019. So if that actually happens, because they haven't gained yet the approval from SEC. So if SEC approves and if the Bitcoin futures, Nasdaq Bitcoin futures launched in the first quarter of in the first half of 2019, then this is an event that will will actually boost Bitcoin higher and cryptocurrencies in general. Okay. The launching of Bitcoin futures in Nasdaq. So that's a positive. That could be a positive announcement for crypto funds, I assume. So also, okay, possible US recession could raise demand from cryptocurrencies. This is not something that we could confirm, but if there is uncertainty over the market, if we see any kind of US recession, we might see traders shifting their funds from the traditional currencies to cryptos. Okay, this could benefit cryptocurrencies. Last but not least, ICOs by SEC. So, sorry for a second. So from 2018, we saw that regulators actually started to properly speak out. Most recently, an event called Consensus Invest. So we have actually saw the CEO of SEC, Jay Cloud, talking about a lot of ICOs in 2019 and more or less taking quite a few jobs in the ICO market, and more importantly on how we can actually move forward with the regulation stance. So we expect based on that, based on this speech, based on these announcements from SEC, we expect more regulatory regulations in 2019 in the ICO prospects. So this is something that will immediately affect our market. And if we go back in the past, in 2017 and 19, we have seen that the SEC actually drop a lot of crypto projects in the last quarter of 2018. And actually settle some charges to few of the initial coin offerings for issuing unregistered securities. So with the most recent one was Airfox and Paragon. So SEC actually put some charges against Airfox and Paragon for violating securities laws. So this is something that is likely to continue in 2019. So SEC will be more active on regulation, be more active on adding limits, on putting some charges against the and against icons. So this is likely to continue. So even if we see a lot of ICO projects, a lot of ICOs to take place in 2019, if we see any charges from SEC, rejections from SEC, this is likely to have a negative effect in our market. And as I'm putting here, an example was the last quarter of 2019 was Airfox with Air token and also Paragon. So this is a potential regulatory risk for our market. So that has to do with the key issues that you have to be aware when you're trading cryptocurrencies in 2019. And if you understood right, with all these concerns and taking all this into account, we actually by also checking the technical perspective for Bitcoin, we remain we expect actually a more of a bearish movement for Bitcoin in 2019, at least for the first half of 2019. So technically, let's shift to the technical part. Let me put my platform on and Bitcoin. So that is the performance in 2018. Let me zoom in a bit. And okay, this is the second half of 2018 up to date. So after the this big sell-off in November, where the Bitcoin break this strong support, this strong floor around $6,000 over here, and lower and reach the next support area, which is between 3,500 to 300s. 3,000, sorry, 3,000 and $3,500. Bitcoin is currently stable, quite dodgy, actually moving quite. It's consolidating the last in January, the last 3 weeks, consolidating around 3500s. So it's a bit of stable, but remains strongly to the downside. Overall, is in a downwards movement, in a downwards trend, without any kind of sign for an increasing bullish momentum. If I zoom into the short term, okay, again some corrections to the upside at the beginning of the year. So it closed the year at 4,000, shifted lower, spiked again higher, tried to recover a bit, didn't manage to break the 4,200s level, and then continued to the downside since the January 8th. So it continued to the downside. However, it's losing. The volume is very, very low. We can see very, very small steps to the downside, but it remains negative overall. So if I stick back to my PowerPoint, pivot point for the year stands at 4,800. Next immediate support for the year is at 2,300. If that breaks, is likely to see the asset moving below 1,000, and so the next support after the initial support is at 700s and 300s. Resistance remain at the key area at the mid or at the mid price, around the mid price of for 2018 at 6,400s. If that breaks, is likely to see a retest of the 10,000 area, resistance area, which was actually 2018's open price. So if we see a break of 6,400, is likely to see a retest, a shift to this upside, and a rebound from the 2018 lows, and a retest of $10,000 for Bitcoin. So let's stick back on the daily chart. We're in the daily chart. Let's put, okay. If you see, if you can see, no, it's it's a mix. Okay, let me take some objects. Let me delete some so you could see clearly the chart. So that was so far. That was the performance in 2018. This floor over here at around 6,000 to at around $6,000 is a strong resistance area. Okay, so it's a level to be watched. You can understand that if this strong support this strong support in 2018 it could be converted into resistance for 2019. So if that breaks, we could see actually if we see a decisive break of this strong area over here, which is also the 50 weeks moving average for the Bitcoin, we could see Bitcoin retesting 8,000 and 10,000 as well. But as I already mentioned, we are more in a bearish market so far, with asset moving below all three moving average, 20, 50, and 200. Small baby steps to the downside, but is still moving, is still creating lower lows. So a strong support over here within this area, and more precisely the 300s, which was around here, around 300 area, 3,000 area, sorry, over here. So a break of this support, a break of this, how many? a break of this support, which is nearly 2-year support, may more 2-year support, could lead the asset further to the downside and to the 2300s level. And if that breaks, which is also, and if that breaks, which is stands for the 2017 low price as well, then we could see it retesting S2 and S3 for the year, which is around 700 and 300, as we mentioned in our slides and our global trends outlook. So before I end up with this session, guys, this is a time to, if you have any questions, if you want me to cover the short term for Bitcoin, the short term time frame for Bitcoin, anything in general that you want to ask me, I'm here for you. So technical, as I mentioned, we are in a bearish side, at least for the first quarter, for the first half of 2019. I have already explained the reasons. The main reason is regulations. Anything that has to do with banning of cryptos from any currency or any country in the world, anything that had to do with the losing or tightening of regulation is an opportunity for us, though, to profit either to enter short or long in the market. But since the main picture from SEC the main picture for SEC is that more regulations is gonna be published, are gonna be as SEC is giving us the sign that it will be more active. It would be more active regarding the regulatory control in 2019. Then the picture, the outlook remains on the bearish sign. So more charges are expected, more fines are expected to the potential ICOs, more restrictions, more delays on the potential Bitcoin ETFs are expected, and the only issues that might benefit Bitcoin for 2019 and in general cryptocurrencies is the launch, if actually Nasdaq achieves to launch the Nasdaq Bitcoin future. This is likely to benefit Bitcoin. So that was all from me. Can you please explain more on Airfox and Paragon? Okay, so so what actually happened is that so Air token, okay, Air token is an Ethereum token that actually provides services on transferring mobile airtime, data, and currency, also payment for goods and services. And this is a token that was actually is provided from Air Force, the Air Force company. Airfox company is a service provider company, a financial service provider company, which created this token, this cryptocurrency, let's say, this asset, which actually facilitates the transfer for mobile airtime, data, and currency. However, SEC, the U.S. Security Commission, actually put some charges, penalized Airfox, okay? Because by investigating Air token, this actually Ethereum-based token that Airfox provided to the investors, find out that it's actually find out that it does not comply with the regulations, and it's violating security laws, the security laws that use that SEC has for cryptocurrencies. So that's why the news that SEC actually put some charges against Airfox added further pressure to Bitcoin price, because this means that cryptocurrency market remains a market that has not fully regulated. It's lacking of law, is lacking of security for the investors. It's not safe. It's not a safe investment for us, because there is nothing, there is not a central organization that can ensure our money. So all these added further pressure to the price, added further uncertainties, makes us as investors to worry more regarding this not safe market, the cryptocurrency market. This is what happened. The news actually pushed Bitcoin price, cryptocurrency price down, because that meant that still there is not a control over cryptocurrency markets. They are easy to be there is no insurance for us as traders. Okay. Paragon actually was something similar to Airfox. Again, I'm not really sure how the token for Paragon was called, but let me find out. So yeah, I think it was Paragon coin, if I'm not wrong. So Paragon actually created a cryptographic token, which used in its own system. Okay, so it created a coin called Paragon coin. Paragon again is it's a software company. Okay, so again, it was penalized by SEC because the coin that created, the cryptocurrency coin that created, is not according to the law. It violates security laws, so that's why SEC put some charges on Paragon as well. If you search Paragon and AR token and Airfox, you'll find out exactly what happened. So you can understand that every single penalty that the company takes from SEC regarding its cryptocurrency is going to affect our market to the downside. So an opportunity for us to sell. Okay, anything positive is an opportunity. Anything positive, such as the Nasdaq, let's say Bitcoin future, if of course is indeed launched in the first half of 2019, it will be an opportunity to buy in the short term, in the near future. Okay. Okay. Okay, if explain second ETS, where do they publish their info? Actually, SEC, as I said, is a security organization. That you can find in its homepage any news that have to do with cryptos and any restrictions, penalties, bans that they actually announce. But in general, if you are you're using any kind of website that is exclusive for cryptos, for crypto news, you will be alerted on spot. I don't think that's a case. You can be, if you're like, if you're having a market news, if you're one of your screens, or one of the tabs that you have open in your Google Chrome, let's say, is market news. Of course, any kind of news regarding cryptocurrencies, they would be over there, so you can easily find out any kind of info regarding cryptocurrencies. Okay, guys, we're nearly 20 minutes past the hour. So any questions, anything you want to ask me? It's a last warning. Okay, before you post your last questions, I would just like to say that okay, it's not something certain, it's not something that can be confirmed, but widely the analysts are actually or in general the markets are expecting that in any kind of positive improvement in the cryptocurrency market is expected to happen in 2020 rather in 2019, because currently despite the downwards movement for cryptos, on the background there is still a lot of development to be done in order to build an appropriate infrastructure for cryptocurrencies, which will allow Bitcoin to and general cryptos to thrive. So there is a lot of development on the background. There is a lot of infrastructure development on the background. So since currently there are a lot of technical limitations that we need to find solutions for. They are required solution in order to get over these barriers. 2019 is not likely to have any positive improvement for cryptos, but 2020 is expected to be a year that all these technical limitation will be overcome, and they will will find solutions regarding the infrastructure side of cryptos, and there is in general efforts to there are a lot of efforts in order to, there is widely a lot of efforts for actually achieving to work on to actually try to improve crypto market and to make it a more acceptable asset in the market, an asset that can be controlled, and to actually to find a way from the proof of work mining model to proof of stake. So there is a lot of efforts there are a lot of things to be done. There is a lot of in development on the backside for cryptocurrencies. So it's probable that most of these improvements won't have an effect on crypto markets until 2020 at the earliest. So there are a lot to be done, a lot to be improved. So for example, let's say the Bitcoin payments are very, very slow right now. So there are the teams that actually trying to improve any kind of technical limitation of cryptocurrencies, trying to facilitate a better rate of performance for cryptocurrencies. So there are a lot to be done. They put a lot of effort on improving cryptocurrencies, but this is not something that is likely to have an impact in 2019. This is something for the future. If not in 2020, maybe 2021, but not currently, not in 2019. But there is in general a positive improvement is expected in 2020. So that was my last comment for Bitcoin. For Bitcoin, the expectation of for Bitcoin movement in 2019. So I have to close the session. I see there are no more questions. I would like to thank you for attending this webinar. It wasn't an easy one. So I will just finish this session by saying, think about regulation as not a bad thing, but something that could provide you opportunities for profits. Okay. regulations, any news of regulation is not such a bad thing for us as traders, but it could be another opportunity, another chance to enter the market. Another chance for benefiting, for gaining some profits. Why do you think 2020 will be better for Bitcoin? As I already mentioned, there is a lot of development at the background, not only for Bitcoin, for cryptocurrency market in general. There are development teams that actually put a lot of effort on improving, on building the necessary infrastructure for cryptocurrencies. Let's say, for example, to make Bitcoin payments or cryptocurrency payments faster, because right now they remain very slow. So there are actually teams, people that work on the infrastructure of cryptocurrencies in order to make them to make them performing better. So all these efforts it's not something easy. It's not something that can be done in a month, in 2 months, and etc. It's something that takes time. So we are widely expected that this is something that will take place in a year from now. Okay, because there are many teams that actually, for example, there are many teams that actually work on Ethereum, including to create Ethereum 2, which would be an upgrade from the current Ethereum asset. So this is planned to begin in the last quarter of 2019. So any kind of improvement won't have an impact in the market until 2020, not now. Okay, so that's why 2020 it might be a better year for Bitcoin, for cryptos in general, not only Bitcoin, but you know, Bitcoin is one of the oldest cryptocurrencies, but one with the largest the largest actually the largest asset that the largest in regard to market capitalization asset. So if there is some improvement in the some upgrade on the infrastructure development in any kind of Bitcoin, either Ethereum, this will benefit all in general the cryptocurrency market, not only Bitcoin. Okay, that's okay, Ibrahim. Any other questions? Okay, I call the date. Thank you for watching our webinars. I hope to see you next week as well. As usual, we have a live analysis webinar on Tuesday. Okay. As usual, every Tuesday we have a live analysis webinars. Let me stick the webinar schedule. So live analysis on Tuesday. Tomorrow Otto has a webinar with regarding the importance of emotional control. On Stuart on Wednesday with target stops and trade size, where to place your stop, where to place your targets, how ATR can help you setting your stop loss and take profit, the pros and cons of trailing stops and fixed stops, how to trade the news, live analysis again, how to trade with Wolf's Waves by Nectarios on February 30th. So it's a 5-wave pattern, something that might trigger the attention of people that are actually interested in, they're already using Elliott waves, or in general, they like wave patterns for their trading. And etc. So this is a good webinar to attend as well if you're familiar with wave patterns. What is stock exchange and identifying and trading momentum, February 20th with me again. We're gonna go through some momentum indicators, the principle of trading momentum, and how they can be applied in different time frames, and how we can trade with them in different time frames. So That was all from me. Thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed our webinar, and I hope you're having great trading for the rest of the day. See you soon. Bye bye.